What you guys, got another video here for you on how to configure Windows 10 privacy settings using your group policy editor. Now, a bunch of you guys wanted to do this in group policy, so I thought I'd make a quick video to show you how to do it. So go into your settings, and these are your privacy settings inside here. But if you want to do these in group policy, you can do. You can actually lock these down in group policy and then export all of your settings. And then all you need to do whenever you format your system or Windows 10 does an update and resets all your settings, you can import all of your settings that you've set up. So go into the group policy editor by typing GP edit in the search box. And what we're going to do here is start off with the first one, which is speech. Inside administrative templates, control panel, and you've got your regional and language options. Inside here, you can see there's a bunch of settings that you can change. Now you're looking for this one here. Just click on this. This is allow users to enable online speech recognition services. You can disable this and apply an OK. Now be very careful when you just enable or disable something. You need to make sure that you read the little bubbles here of information, because sometimes you need to enable and sometimes you need to disable. So looking at the policy here, you can see it does tell you the information about if this policy is enabled or if it's disabled. If this policy is disabled, speech services will be disabled, and you can enable or disable depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, so just look at the little policy there and it will tell you exactly what to do. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And the next one we're going to be doing is inside computer configuration. We're going to go to administrative templates. This is for your location. I'm going to go Windows components here. Inside here, we're looking for app privacy. And you can see there's a bunch of them inside here that you're going to need to configure to make sure they're working correctly how you want them. And you will have to go through all of these policies one at a time. But you only have to do it once and then you can export all of your settings. So if you push disable in this case and apply, you'll see that basically disabling it is disabling this feature, but you want to make sure you read here, and we're going to be doing false deny. So let's go back and enable this feature and then use false deny here and apply. And if you read the little information there, it will give you all of the information about what you need to do to set yours up how you want to do it. So again, all you need to do here, you can put some information in here, but we're just going to go ahead and do this to all of these policies here. And we'll do false deny on all of these. So we'll just go enable, default for all apps, false deny, and apply. And it's that simple. Now, if there is one inside here that you want to change the default apps to, you can either false allow or whatever way you want to set yours up. So I've done all of these now. I've got these all set. And next, and we can OK that. And they're all done, as you can see here. So let's move on to another one which we can set inside the group policy. And again, you only need to do this once and you can put this on all of your systems. So find my device. Let's go ahead and do that. So inside computer configuration, administrative templates, Windows components, and then we're looking down here for, let's see, find my device. There we go. So down here and then click on and configure, turn on or off find my device. You can enable this feature or disable depending on what you're trying to do here. So just go ahead and read all of this information here and it will give you the information that you need to do. So click OK and that's done. So let me just do another one here. So I'm going to go back and reset these. So we're working from the beginning. So we can see here diagnostic data. Let's go ahead and do this one. So let's go to computer configuration, administrative templates, and then Windows components. And you should see data collection and preview builds. Click on this one here, and you'll see a bunch of policies inside here. You can see allow telemetry, and you can click on this. And again, you can either enable or disable depending on what you're trying to do. So we'll enable this one, and we're going to do the top one here, which is the security enterprise only. And we're going to do that one here. You can read through here and find out what one you want to enable or disable. and apply those policies and then click OK. You can see you've got basic, enhanced and full. Then click OK. Now there is other policies inside each of these that I'm showing you. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see here there is other policies inside here. And you might want to enable some of these features. So do not show feedback notifications. You've got other things like limited enhanced diagnostic data and also other things. So you can enable some of these features. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can generally go through here yourself and enable which ones you want and disable which ones you want. So just apply and OK some of those and go through them. Once you're happy that you've got all of those done, you can move on to the next section, which is inking. So let's go on to inking and typing. So we'll go on to this one next. So just go down to inking and typing diagnostics, and you can see here in the same area, it's called text input. Inside this folder, you've got a couple of policies here. And if you want to disable these, you'd need to go in here, and you don't want to enable these. You do want to actually disable these ones here. If you enable these, they'll be working. So disable these ones and make sure that you disable those. There's another one here as well of allow uninstall of language features and stuff like that. So you can mess around with that one if you wish, if that's what you want to do. But we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be tailored experiences. So make sure you go into the tailored experiences, cloud content here. And once you're inside here, you're going to get a couple of policies inside there as well. You can see do not show Windows tips. You can disable that one. Also turn off Microsoft Consumer. So let's go ahead and disable both of these ones here. Just make sure you read the information here to make sure it's set exactly how it's supposed to be. If it's not, you can always go back in and change the policy to enabled if that's what you need to do. Not going to spend too much time going through reading all this stuff because we'll be here for a good while. But you can see if you disable or do not configure this policy settings, users may see contextual pop-ups explaining how to use Windows. Microsoft use diagnostic data to determine which tips to show. So you want to make sure that you enable this feature and then make sure you disable it. Again, we've got another one here, turn off Microsoft Consumer Experiences. You definitely want to sort this feature out. And you can see here, if you enable this policy, settings users will no longer see personalized recommendations from Microsoft and notifications from Microsoft. So that's exactly what you want to do there. So that's now done. And we've got those ones done. So let's move on to another policy, which is called advertising ID. So let's go ahead and do this one. So we need to close off Windows components here and then go above to the system folder here. So let me just close that off so we don't get confused. And then what we need to do here is I'm just looking down for user profiles inside system here. So just come down, and it's probably going to be down the bottom somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's user profiles. Yeah, there we go. So user profiles. And then what we're looking for inside here is turning off the advertising ID. So let me just see if I can find this inside here. You can click on the settings here and it will put them into order, but there we go. So click on this one, and what we want to do is disable this feature. So if you disable this feature or do not configure this policy, users can control whether apps. So we're going to enable that feature. So we definitely want to do that one. And there'll be a bunch of other stuff inside here which you can mess around with as well. So have a good look around inside that folder, and there might be something that you want to tweak to your own liking. So let's go ahead and do the next one, which is activity, history, timeline, and cloud sync. So we're going to go into OS policies, and inside here you'll see allow publishing of the activities, so of user activities. So we're just going to configure this policy, and I think it's going to be disabled here. So we're going to go to activity are not allowed to be published. Policy change takes effect immediately. So we're going to disable this, I think. So if we hit the disable and apply an OK, that should then disable that policy. Now there's also some other things inside here which you might want to allow or disallow. For instance, allow clipboard history and so on. So you might want to go into here and literally enable or disable whatever which ones you want to do inside here and configure these the way you want them. So it does take a long time to do, as you can see, but once you've got all this done on one system, you can basically export all of those settings and then roll them out across all the other systems if you've got more than one system. Let me just quickly close these off and we'll start again at computer configuration and administrative templates. We want to drop this down and then go to Windows components, and we're looking for online assistance or something like that. So let's go here. It's not down here. I need to go back up. And there we go, online assistance. And turn off active help. So we're going to go into there and we want to configure this. So let's go ahead. If you enable this policy, setting active content links are not rendered. So we need to make sure we enable that policy. There we go. So that's that one done. So let's move on to another one. Now there's only one policy in there, so we don't need to worry about any other policies on there, but we've got OneDrive here. I'm just going to quickly take a look at OneDrive here. And this is where you would configure your OneDrive. So if you want to go into here and configure it, you can do, but you can see here, prevent the usage of OneDrive. And basically you can prevent that if you want to do prevention of OneDrive. If you use OneDrive, then leave that well alone, but you can still configure it to your needs. Let's take a look here also in computer configuration, administrative templates and Windows components. And we're going to deal with Cortana now. So let's go down to the search area here. Inside here, you'll see a bunch of allow Cortana to do certain stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to configure these to our own specifications here. So what we want it to do. So enable this feature and disable cloud search. Now you may want to have cloud search on, but if you don't, that's where you can disable it. Allow Cortana. Again, I don't like Cortana. So we need to enable that feature, and then we also need to turn it off and disable it. So you want to disable this feature. There we go. Click OK. And again, allow Cortana and lock screen. We'll disable that feature as well. And you won't need to worry about that. And there's some other ones inside here. But if you need to enable this, you can see here, if you enable or don't configure this setting, the user can interact. So you don't want to enable that one. So just make sure you've got the settings right here. So I'm going through these pretty quickly and I'm not always reading what they're saying, but basically you need to just take a bit of time. So enable this one. Also, we're going to disable Cortana page as well in AAD accounts. And I think we've got some other bits and pieces inside here you can mess with. I'm not going to go too deep into this one here, but there is a few other things inside here which you can literally disable or enable. There's indexing inside here. You've also got don't search the web or display web results in search. You can turn that feature off here or enable that feature. You can do whatever you like inside here. So there's a bunch of useful stuff in here. This is for metered connections. Again, don't search the web using a metered connection here. You can configure this to your needs. Let me just quickly OK that there. And let me see here. There's a bunch of other stuff inside here. I don't want to get bogged down in one area, but you can take more time at going through here and looking here. You can see indexing here as well. There is something else in here I want to mess with. So I'm going to go enable and off. Default states. Now this is for if you wanted to block people from having access to adult content. So for instance, if you're in a business or a school or something like that, you want to block all of that stuff. So you don't want to see access to adult text, adult images, or adult videos and stuff like that. You can set that policy and have it too strict, you know, to stop them from seeing that if you was in a school or something along those lines. Okay, so let's just apply that policy there. There we go. And move on to another policy. So let's go here and take a look here. And this is to set what information is shared in search. So you can basically set this up to user info and location, or user info only, or you can be anonymous info if you wanted to set this up as well, which is quite useful. Let's go ahead and do anonymous info here. So no usage, no user data is going to be sent back. Let's get that policy set and click OK here. Okay, so that's that policy done. And there's quite a few inside here, so just literally take your time at going through these and you should be good to go. So we're going to go to the next policy here. So let me just reset these little arrows back. I'm going to go into Windows Components here. And you can search your components by just looking on the right pane if you want to, or on the left. It just depends on how you want to navigate. But we're looking for sync here. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sync settings. So sync your settings. So click on this one. And there's a bunch of them in here. You can see do not sync apps, do not sync app settings, do not sync passwords. And again, if you don't need to sync this policy, then just leave it alone, or you can leave it as non-configured. But if you do want to sync this policy, then obviously what you'll need to do is click on these and configure them. And you can see here, do not sync on metered connections. There's a bunch of really useful stuff inside here to configure. So I would advise you to definitely configure these sync policies. So we'll start off with the do not sync apps here. So let's go ahead and click on do not sync apps. And once we've got this done, we can configure these. So enable, and you can see here, allow users to turn app syncing on. And we don't want to do that. So we definitely don't want to allow those to do that. So we're going to do next. And we're going to do this for all of these. Just go next setting and so on. And that will be how we want to do it. So you could disable it as well. You can read the policies there and you can see I've got these all done. And we can now move on to the next policy, which is going to be maps. Again, if you don't want maps, you can go inside here and look for maps. And it's still in the same area. You just need to go up a little bit and look for maps. And you can turn off maps here. So this is offline maps settings page. And again, if you disable or don't configure this policy, go through and read all that stuff. So just go through here. And you can see it's a bit laborious to do, but once you've got all this done, you won't have to worry about this policy anymore. You can just save that policy and copy it across to all the other machines. Error reporting, this is another area that people get concerned about with data collecting and sending data back. And this is an area here, do not send additional data. Now, some people are so paranoid that they want to disable all of this stuff. And they will basically go in here and turn this feature off anyway. But you can enable this policy or disable it, whatever you want to do here. Just read through there and choose the right policy for you and click OK. And you should be good to go. Also, disable login. I would advise you to do that because obviously you want some logs to look at. But you've also got disable Windows error reporting. This is, again, reporting stuff back to Microsoft. If you're worried about what's being sent back, you can read their terms and policies. There's not much data going sent back. It's only the data from the error codes that you've got and probably your PC hardware information and stuff like that. But some people are so paranoid that they think that other stuff's being sent back, so they want to turn those off. Okay, so that is the error reporting policies. Also, we've got Windows Defender Telemetry. That does actually collect telemetry as well. So if you want to disable that, then you need to go into the Windows Defender antivirus and then maps. Inside here, you'll see an area where there's a bunch of stuff in here, which you can say send the file samples when further analysis is required. And you can set that to never send and apply an OK. And that one is then done. Also, you've got join Microsoft Maps. If you don't opt out, it will automatically join you. You can see here, join Maps. I'm going to disable that feature. I don't want to join it. So if you don't want to join it, you can disable it. If you want more security, then by all means, join it. It's that simple. Go into the next one here. We'll just take a look. Let me just reset these and get back to where we was. We're still in the system folder here. We're looking at internet communication and management here. And there is also internet communication and settings inside here as well. We can take a look at restrict internet communications. Another telemetry type of thing you can mess with here. But again, you can enable this feature and then go through or disable it, whatever suits your needs. You'll also see a bunch of other policies inside here, which you can tweak to your needs. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's quite a few of them, but you can generally see there, if you go into here, you'll see turn off Windows Messenger consumer experience. And you've also got a bunch of other ones like Windows error reporting and handwriting personalization, data sharing. There's a bunch of stuff inside here which you can actually mess with. Also, Windows Customer Experience Improvement Program is up the top there. You can also tweak those settings and disable them. I'd advise you to do it because that is you're opting into their program. But that is in the Internet Communication and Management. Also, application telemetry is another one. These are a couple of added extra ones I wanted to show you here. Just go inside here and basically you would need to go into here, turn off application telemetry, and this will also stop the telemetry from being collected here as well. You can see they do bury quite a lot of this telemetry stuff inside Windows 10. You just have to go digging and spend a bit of time and you'll find tons of stuff inside here which is actually collecting data. Again, you've got another one here which is your inventory collector. Turn off inventory collector. If you want to go through and deal with this one, you can do. There's another bunch of stuff inside here and apply that and OK. Steps recorder and a bunch of other bits and pieces in here. Okay, so let's do one more here. Internet Explorer telemetry. Inside here, you've got another one in here. Let's just see. I think it's just another consumer data collecting program that they want you to opt into. There we go. Prevent the participation in the consumer experience improvement program. You can opt out of this one if you want to. And that should cover all of the bases for opting in and out of those programs, just to enable those features. I should have probably enabled the internet communication one as well. I'll do that off camera. But I think we've covered all of the major areas for privacy, data collection and telemetry and stuff like that. So you should now have a lot of these policies turned off when you go inside your privacy area. You should now see that some of these settings are hidden or managed by the organization, which is the administrator, which would be yourself. You can see they're all turned off. They're all grayed out. You can't touch them. They are set in stone to exactly how you want them. And that's how you can control the privacy inside group policy. It's a really secure way of claiming back your system resources and also your privacy on Windows 10. Hope this one helps you out. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. If you stayed here to the end, then thanks a lot for watching, and I shall see you again for another video real soon. Bye for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the red subscribe button and then hit the bell notification button and click all to be notified when we upload new videos.